Timeline. This is the timeline. Some people call it a sales cycle. Some people call it a sales cycle. Remember, one of my master's degrees is in business psychology, industrial and organizational psychology. So you'll see a lot of frames of reference that I use that go back and forth that are kind of interchangeable. So number one is the approach or the touch. How do you introduce yourself? If you were on the last call, we talked about the 3:30, 3:30. And 3:33, actually. We talked about the 30 second, the 3 minute, the 30 minute, the 3 hour, and then the 3 day pitch or touch. The approach. We talk about this in week number 6 of Branded Like a Leader when I talk about the 501 framework and a series of touches that I relate to boxing, where it attracts and it lays flat all competition. It's a series of touches. And everybody here was a series of touches. We touched at you. You saw something, you responded to it, and there were touches that took place. There was responses. There was the conversation that took place. Those are touches. That's a relationship creator. We have a relationship now. Now you're here getting fed food. You're in my restaurant and you're like, this tastes good. Right? So series of touches. That's step one. Step two is the date. If you have, someone that you're looking at and you appreciate the way they appear and you're like, I like that person. How do you get them to go on a date with you or exchange numbers with you? How do you make people like you, feel incentivized to exchange with you or tell you their name? Think of Alicia Keys' song, You Don't Know My Name. How do you get someone to tell you their name in business, in your brand, through your brand? What is your brand equity? What is your position? So you can say, hey, my name is, and this is what I do. If you go to my LinkedIn, it'll tell you I turn leaders into brands so they can turn their yearly income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. It's my value. It's what I do. I turn leaders into brands so they can make their weekly income daily, their monthly income weekly, and their yearly income monthly. I don't care if it's 100K. What is your call to action? What is your value statement? What is your power line? We call that a power line because you could literally tie that joint from one roof to the next and I could walk across it. It holds. It'll hold my weight. That's why we call it a power line. What is your power line that will hold your weight that makes a person say, hey, I like what you got to say. I'd like to see if you could do it. Here's my number. My name is such and such. And you know what shows it? Results. So when you walk up with a confident 7 and you saying it with your back like you really mean it and you really are it, people are attracted to it. The 5s, the love a 7. The 6s love a 8. The 4s love a 5 and a 6. The 2s love a 4. But you are 4, and instead of looking at your 1s and 2s who are your tribe, you looking at the 9s and the 10s like, I'll never get there. I ain't got no value. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm going to just go home and keep my hands in my pockets and keep my face looking at my shoes like I'm looking at how many laces I got. You losing money. You leaving money on the table because you all about the transaction and you're not about the transformation. So you're not really giving value. When you go live, you trying to compete with the 10s and you bugging. You're not there yet. You speaking out of turn. You talking on things you ain't got no business talking about. You understand? You competing with you in the wrong league. You're not in your lane. You in the wrong lane. You talking with the big dogs and you're going to get your head chewed off. But if you stay in your lane and you talk about what you know, then the 2s and the 3s and the 1s going to love you, going to pay you, going to rally around you and lift you up, and they're going to train you. You think you're going to be coaching them and training them. They're going to be coaching you and training you on your way from a 5 to a 7. and then sealing the deal. How do you get people to go home with you? How do you get people to go home with you? Ladies and gentlemen, think about it. How do you get people to go home with you? What do you do? At that moment, I'm not going to talk about in the club. I'm going to talk about in the college, right? In the college, how do you get someone to exchange numbers with you in the library, right? What do you do? What is your attraction? What is your approach? How do you touch? What is your messaging? It's the same thing in business, guys. It's a dance. It's a give and take. It's a give and receive. It's a dance. It's an interaction. It's not that deep. You're not going to get shot. Like, it's not that deep. You're not going to get locked up. Like, it's not that deep. What are you afraid of? You afraid to say your name. You afraid to say your value. You afraid to tell somebody what you do. You scared to ask somebody else for their name or ask somebody else for their number. Listen, if this was high school, what's going on? If this was college, nobody would have any kids. But it's business, and people aren't getting results because they got that fear in them in business, but in school, you ain't have that fear. So I need you to kind of go back to your innocence, go back to your foundation, go back to the basics of courtship. Courtship. How do you approach and touch? How do you make someone know you? You got to be present. How do you get someone to date you or exchange numbers? You got to be strategic. And how do you seal the deal? You got to be willing to give value. Real simple. Real simple. Because if you go on a date with somebody, now check it out, 3 comes after the 2. If you go on a date, ladies, if somebody takes you on a date and they go to the movies and y'all go to the movies and they done parked up around the corner or the Uber done dropped y'all off and left y'all and they standing there waiting for you to pay, you're going to be like, ooh, okay, cool, bad sign, right? Look, somebody like, nope, I'm out of here, right? But you already there. You already there. So you might say, okay, well, maybe this is what do they call it? Maybe this is French or Greek or something. Maybe I'll take care of the movie. They take care of the dinner, right? So maybe you take care of the movie. Let's just say, theoretically, you say, okay, no problem. You don't act like, don't look at them. You don't make them feel bad. You pull out, boom, go ahead. Go in the joint, watch the movie. Then y'all go to the dinner. Y'all go to the restaurant. And then y'all go to the restaurant. When the waiter bring the check, they get up. I got to go use the bathroom. And they get up and they leave. And now you're sitting there with the check again, like, hold on. Now, some ladies will leave and wait for him to come out and face the check. Some ladies will pay for it and never come out and never do it again. But we're talking about value. What value are you bringing? Because it's based on these touch points. It's based on these interactions, whether somebody's going to go home with you or not. It's based on your unique selling point. What is your conversation? What is your content? Most women say they want a man who can stimulate their mental. What is your content? What is your value? What is the weight of your conversation? The quality of content. What are you guys talking about at the dinner table? What are you talking about in the car? What are you talking about on the phone? What is your approach? What is your touch? How do you date or exchange numbers? And then how do you seal the deal? It's really, really not rocket science.